Hello baby gangsters, this is Calvin, also known as Homer, and this is Genshin Impact, and today we're doing something that I honestly said before that I don't think I would ever do, and that is the Imaginarium Theater stuff. Now, the thing is about the Imaginarium Theater stuff is that, like, I have been suggested this for, like, so long. It's like, as long as I can think back of, like, my stuff with Genshin, and this was a thing, people have talked about this stuff all the time. I understand that it is kind of, like, more difficult, like, endgame content, which is why I didn't really have, like, much passion for doing it. But two things have changed in the past few weeks. One of the things was that people have been saying, like, no, like, you haven't been here, you haven't been to this area when I did the Arco quest recently. And also there's like some like Hex and Circle lore, there's some cool stuff there in the first part of it, and all you have to do is like really just do the first part and, like, you know, see all this stuff, and that's what we're gonna be doing today. I don't really plan on doing anything past that, really, but also, like, you know, it's like I have a very lovely audience, a very, very nice audience, a very, very kind audience that will always respect my decisions whenever I make a decision. But they also, like, have told me in many different ways over different, you know, whether it be social media or whether it be on YouTube, whatever it is, that, like, you might like this. And again, it's always like with the added thing of, like, there's no pressure to do it. No one's going to force you to do it, you know, because no one can force you to do it. But everyone's been so lovely about it. Everyone's been so nice about it. Everyone's been so kind about it. Everyone's been so cool about it, that I don't really want to be stubborn about it. And I said I would definitely try it out, you know, because you guys have said that I would like it. At least, like, the first parts of it. Not, like, the end game content constantly or, like, the harder parts. But you guys are like, hey, you should definitely try it out. You know what I mean? Like, it's something to try out. And I definitely think that if I search the term Imaginarium Theater in my comments, I think it would probably be one of the most suggested things. I actually guarantee you. I actually might put up, like, a number of how many comments I saw just talking about the Imaginarium Theater on the screen right now, because I haven't looked it up yet, but I know for a fact there would be a lot of them as well. But everyone's been so kind as usual. Everyone's been so nice as usual that, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, look, it cannot hurt me to try it out. It cannot kill me to try it out. Yeah, and why not? Why not? Especially since, like, we have, like, so much time with Genshin as well. Again, I'm not going to be doing a lot of this stuff. I want to make that clear. It's going to be a situation where, like, I'm not, like, planning at all on doing, like, is it here? Oh, in the library, yeah. I'm not planning on, you know, getting into, like, the more endgame content. My characters are not built for that. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm built for that. I don't think I'm that good. I think I'm legitimately not that good. No, freaking. I remember little Ella from the start of the playthrough. Yeah, like, I just don't think I'm built for that. But let's try this out. Visit the mysterious room. Oh my god. Yeah, we were here for the Archon quest, and people were like, I cannot believe you haven't been here yet.
Huh? What's a place like this doing in a library? Could this be the restricted section Lisa mentioned?
My girl Paimon. Maybe. Look at that. It's such a cool area as well, right?
Doesn't quite feel like it, though. You don't think this place is hiding some terrible secret, do you? Like those rooms you always hear about in scary stories? You know, the ones that are usually totally off limits? Surely
would be locked if that were the case. But I do know Paimon, like, has a kind of a point here. Like, again, this is, like, retroactive, but, like, we know that, like, you know, Alice was here.
That's true. We
such a cool area.
In here, and it didn't seem like the lock had been broken or anything.
Right.
Wait, hang on a minute. This isn't the door we came in through. Are we even in the library anymore?
So you, like, warped to a new area? We could be underneath Cider Lake? Perhaps we've reached another world. We could be underneath Cider Lake is a pretty interesting way to put it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, building all this under the lake. Wait, no, that's ridiculous. No way, there we are.
Paimon trusts us so much that she was like, yo, like, maybe that's the thing, but then, like, there's too much glass around here, you know?
Too bad Lisa's not working today, otherwise we could ask her. Well, we're here anyhow, and this place doesn't look too dangerous. Why don't we just take a look around?
Sure.
New places are meant for exploring, after all.
Heck yeah.
You gotta try all kinds of new things to become a good and experienced guide.
I love her so much.
Ooh, look, a stuffed wolf toy, so cute.
It is, it's very cute, isn't it?
So fluffy and soft. Huh, wonder who left it here.
For all you know, the toy might be this room's real master. It might be a guardian of this mysterious room.
What sort of guardian would be dozing away on the sofa like this?
We've met some pretty powerful people in this game that are like have the most casual traits as well, though.
No danger in sight. Saw nothing means nothing happened.
Look at Viola. I adore her so much. Look, we're laughing as well. Of course you are. Look at this relationship.
Leave it here for now. This place is huge, so let's keep on exploring.
Sure. So I see like a lot of books shining around here. So I've unlocked the Imaginarium Theater. You can use the Fantasia Tome in the theater lobby to start the Imaginarium Theater challenge. The theme of Imaginarium Theater will change every so often. This is actually something I like, again, when this was explained to me recently as well, what it actually was, I thought it's actually a really sick idea. With the participation conditions and special guest characters changing along with this, you get special guest characters too. The opening characters of each session will gain fantastical blessings, which will grant them special buffs and performance challenges, and in your ventures across Tevat. Wait, like you get buffs outside of the theater? Is that the case? You must select companions to form your party for the challenge according to the restrictions set by the performance requirements. Each character starts with 2 vigor, and each time they complete an active performance challenge, they will lose 1 vigor. Okay. This is so interesting to me, like in general, that we're even like here. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't expect it, like, my first time being here was legitimately with the Archon quest. You know what I mean? That's what it was. It was legitimately with the Archon quest that we just did. And I had that, like, first time reaction with you guys. So there's, like, Little Witch and the Undying Fire. Let's see if there's a one around here as well. So there's lots of books around here. 6. Oh my god, there's lots of books, isn't it? Wait, investigate? Look, what are treasure chests? So beautifully decorated, such an unmissable spot. Almost they're trying to tempt me to open it. Maybe the key is somewhere nearby? Let's have a look around. We might be able to find it. Wonder what treasure is hiding. So they also have, like, a lot of the... I want to find, obviously, the first one first. So maybe over here? Yes, so we can read these books as well, which is really good. What are you? Draw a fortune slip? Oh my god! What's my fortune? A swordsman blade and their hearts linked. To change one's spirit is to change one's sword. To change the sword of one who seeks to defend is calm and controlled, while a blade of fury is keen and spiteful. Shifting forms of Favonius blade work. 1. To hold regret and sorrow with oneself is unspeakable agony. To roast your very soul. Do not allow your soul to be scorched, charred, black by flame. A mind consumed by misery and agony is a lure for tragedy and destruction. Know then to nourish your heart, as if it were to flower to be cared for. A spring of sweet water lies within the depths of your soul, and even amid despair there is hope. Okay. So it's trying to tell us not to, like, dwell on the sad parts of life, and to give ourselves, like, time to, like, I guess, like, cure, like, the kind of darker parts of our heart, maybe? So freaking cool. So freaking cool. That's, like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, so let's, read this. Oh, so we can just, like, collect the books themselves. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that right now, then. We can investigate this, though. The words on the pages, this writing's so blurred, Palmy can't make out what it says. But isn't that a clock hanging behind the desk? It's completely still, like it's broken. Linger a while, thou art so fair. Are you okay, Wonder? Seriously, stop suddenly saying such strange things. Anyway, it doesn't seem like there's anything worth looking at here. Maybe we should try somewhere else instead? Well, I want to go over here and get this as well. The Feline Firm. The Feline Firm. A lot of different books here as well. So why does I can't see a thing? Reminds me of my side. Looks like just an ordinary closet. What's up, Wonder? Something wrong? Perhaps we'll meet a lion in there, like the lion in The Witch in the Wardrobe. Why would there be a lion in the closet? Perhaps we should try somewhere else and keep the strange comments to a minimum while we're at it. Piper's like, stop being weird. Stop being weird, please. Please stop being weird. Oh, our health is very low, by the way. Feline Firm. I'm trying to find all the copies of the book here that we can get. Feline Firm. What is this painting? Okay. And we can read them then afterwards. Look at these cakes as well. Look at all these cakes. 2. I think we have them all, right? Maybe? Feline firm. Does it say we can investigate the bear? We can. Or the wolf. It's so cute. Paimon can't stop himself from petting it. Poke its stubby. You and Paimon pet the fluffy wolf toy. He's so soft, it's warm and fluffy, full of cotton, just like Paimon imagined. Alright, let's keep looking somewhere else. That's really, really adorable. It's really adorable. Change music? What? Honestly? No. Come on. Come on. Let's be real. Well, this person in the painting's moving? They've left. Paimon, in this water, you could tell us this place is, could you? Howdy there. Nope, nothing. She doesn't seem to hear us at all. Maybe our greeting wasn't formal enough? Oh, fair noble lady, hearest thou our question? Oh yeah, all we need's response was an elegant greeting. Pfft, as if. Surely it's just a painting that could move? Anyway, mysterious as it is, we're not going to find the answer just by waiting around. Why don't we go search for clues someplace else? 100%. Okay, so I think we might have... Oh, there's another book over here. Yeah, I think we might have found like a lot of the books here. So actually, I haven't been in the archive in a bit. But where... It's in here, right? So if we go get our books... Did they show new ones first? This is a story of a little witch who journeyed far and wide to find the undying fire. The story begins as such, in the westernmost part of the magic continent, where a young witch was undergoing her witch certification and final trial. As per convention, one need only pass this trial to qualify as a true witch. The trial requires lots to be drawn and the results were completely random, a format which resulted in frequent accidents. But the magic continent was nothing if not firm in its adherence to tradition. And so, if you will believe it, they stuck to the rules of drawing lots of trials since they are very most of ancient times. Their law in the outside world, known as Morphe's Law, that's how you write it, right? Anyway, it means that bad things you worry about happening are probably going to happen, and thus did a completely unsurprising surprise strike the little witch. So I think, yeah, like, it's like the idea that, like, if something bad can happen, it will happen, I guess. Some little witches got very simple tasks, stuff like synthesizing the final solution to material world, the philosopher's stone, or bringing back Baleen from the Titanic universe, roaming whale. What? Or perhaps figuring out how to get to a parallel universe to find no longer extant Goodemore, lost to a great ancient magical war, and so on and so on. But our main protagonist drew a topic of terrible, troubling tribulation to find and bring back the undying fire. Perhaps our honored teacher might have had an opinion on the subject. Her teacher was just enjoying a most wonderful tea time with her friends, and she comforted her student. It must be because you're fated to become a really great witch, so your topic's a little harder than most. Unsolved mysteries are the most interesting after all. That's right, when you come back, I'll be sure to welcome you with a tea party. One lovelier than this one even. The teacher's friend whispered to her, "Hey, now, that's, isn't that a bit much? You obviously only made up that question because you couldn't be bothered to think of a real exam. If such a thing existed, we'd have perpetual motion machines right now, don't you think? Couldn't you have done something else? Made her prove the grand unified theory based on a unified electro-weak theory or something? Oh, don't you worry, life is full of a great many lies," the teacher spoke brazenly. "And I did not lie, did I? I know that the undying flame does indeed exist. That blazing star. Hang on. When did I see it again? Oh, I must have forgotten." The teacher spun around to her pupils saying, "Ahem. Considering that your trial is indeed quite challenging, you shall have 3 times the normal amount of time to complete it." I'll be reading for you. So the idea of an undying flame, right? I believe this has been mentioned before as well, but the idea of an undying flame is something that, like, will allow machines, I guess, like, to move in perpetual motion forever, because it's something that, it's like a flame that will never go out. It's like almost like energy that will never go out, right? At least that's what, like, I picture when I think of this as well. Right, yeah, so it's like, at least that's the way I look at it anyway. So volume 2, Deep in the Woods, Nighttime. The little witch soared upon her broom beneath the blood-green moon. Blood-green was regarded as a symbol of great change in astrology, though whether such a change be good or for ill cannot be determined by any result. Actually, that shade symbolizes the dominant race of this world, the Nephilim. They were the children of gods and humans, so their blood too, was the conflicts between the red blood of humanity and the golden, divine blood. And actually, the green moonlight was a result of the moon's physical composition. The distance between the planet and the moon is atmospheric scattering and other factors. So the idea of the Nephilim were the children of gods and humans, so their blood was the conflicts between red blood and humanity and the red blood of humanity and the golden divine blood. So it's a mix between the two. Anyway, so the little witch was soaring upon her broom beneath the gold green moon, and then she met a young lady who claimed to be a fortune teller. I wish to become a witch's familiar, said the young lady. But before they could even consider that, the witch had something to ask. Can fortune tellers read the signs of fate? The fortune teller then explained the underlying principles. Put simply, it's something like this. In our world, the stars are the heavenly strings by which humans are bound. But in other worlds, the subjects of astrological study are the solar ecliptic energies, that various lunar energies of the satellites, the will energy of the celestial rulers of the planets, the scattered interference of energy at distant stars, and the dark energy that suffuses the pitch-black cosmos. Of course, it's not like these things don't exert influence on our planet. They merely have greatly weakened by a giant sky shroud. As such, astrology on the other worlds is far more abstract than that which is practiced in ours. So, in our world that we're in, the stars are heavenly strings by which humans are bound. Is that saying that the stars are showing fate? It's like the idea of like showing like where humans are heading to, and that's where they're bound to go to. But in other worlds, they have more of an abstract idea, maybe an idea that's not fully realized in some ways. It says here, like, no, they are like, there's astrological studies, the solar ecliptic energies. They have the will of celestial rulers, like god-like rulers, planetary rulers of the planets, and the scattered interference of energy, distant stars. Yeah, it's interesting. By the way, our planets refer to an actual celestial bodies as an archon, and theorized as one as a virtual. The planet the little witch was on was no exception. So wait, by the way, the other planets refer to an actual celestial body as an archon. So the other planets, apart from Teva, call a celestial body like a planet an archon. Is that what I'm getting at here? You see, we also call a will that comes down from the heavens an archon. They are normally planets that have sentient life on them, and they number 7. Wow. And therefore are called the 7 archons. As for the virtuals, their number varies between 1, 2, and 4. The planet the little witch was on may as well have been 1, and in that case, such a world, the virtual, would be the dark sun. So if this is talking about Tevat then, and if it is, that you can correct me, by the way, 100%. But they say like the will of the heavens is an archon, right? The will of the heavens that is what comes down from the heavens is an archon. So the 7 archons would be considered maybe like, well, I know what archons are at this stage, right? But because we've experienced a lot of them. But like in just this terms here, like in this written terms, like they're almost like the way they describe is the will of the heavens, which would make sense, I guess, as well. Getting that power from like celestial bodies and like, you know, gods and like the heavenly principles and things like this. It's a very interesting way just to describe it to me. Astrologists and diviners are in essence performing weight calculations on the sky shroud, the cosmos, and the archon and the virtual celestial bodies before deducing individual development tendencies from world to world. But the relative weight of the sky shroud over our planet is just way too great. And so investigating already allows us to obtain very precise results. As for the world the little witch and the astrologist were on, they would have to go through the entire formula. After the little witch finished listening, she was very impressed by the fortune teller's learning and technique. And now they could speak of the matter of familiarhood. To be a witch's familiar was to share in her magic, and with magic one could peer into the destinies that said becoming a familiar could have unforeseen side effects. It was hard to say what might happen. Yes, that's what the blood green moon means, great change, which can be judged as good or ill by the outcome. See how it all comes together? We didn't go off topic. It's a shame that I am still not a great witch. I can't make you familiar yet, said the little witch. I know of another way to establish a contract with a witch. It seems that we must resort to using it, said the young lady. This was the night bathed in blood-green moonlight and was also coincidentally the witches' night carnival. By the way, the night carnival is an ancient taboo ceremony. The legend has it that at such times the witches' magical powers are at their apex, so during this carnival. Though they hold rituals in secret and offer sacrifices and keeping the bonfires burning through the night. This tradition had been forgotten in the westernmost parts of the magical continent, but for some reason, it had been revived within the deep woods. Normally, this was an event that only great witches or figures still could be invited to, or invite to others to attend. In practice, though, the participation in the carnival has a direct relation with a witch's romantic or marital status. So the night carnival is a ceremony where like they offer sacrifices, but like the idea that's taboo means that like it's not really accepted by a lot of people in the other parts of the world as well. Interesting. But they're saying that like it has to do with their marital status, and I think that am I wrong in saying that with witches in Genshin, if you do settle down and have a life, and you do get married, they consider you almost to be like dead, right? It's like that you're gone. It's like, and they kind of give you a send off, and you kind of like go to live a mortal life almost in a way. And they don't shy away from that. I think they do. Like the Hexen Circle, for example, are like, yeah, you can find a loved one. Just know that like you're probably considered like not the same as we used to consider you. But yeah, on the blood green moon, the great witches danced around the bonfire. Sounds so sick. The little witch and the young astrologers hid the shadows of the trees that grew so thick that even dense clouds couldn't compare, and even the bonfire could not illuminate them. We just need to wait to the day after the ancient forbidden night of revelry, when the dawn light first breaks and the various grey witches depart. In the grey embers will be a flame that never dies. Wow, says the never-ending, the undying flame. When a mortal takes his flame and offers it up, that is the equivalent of signing a contract with the witch, said the young lady. Does this method always work, the little witch said. It's impossible. It's possible a witch could reject the contract, but witches do love their spirit mediums, and I'm not afraid of becoming a fearsome creature, the young lady replied. So is that like the side effects? Her voice is a little thick with yearning. In that case, isn't this an undying fire? Dark thoughts came to the witch's mind. What if I took the flame for my own? That's what I was thinking. It's like, okay, I could just take this flame and finish my task. Right? And not do the familiar thing at all. And so, under the blood-green moonlight, the great witches sang their song. If all things a witch's opera be, then nothing true is worth mourning would the world ever see. Our festival has come to a fruitful end. We should read this better, right? If all things a witch's opera be, then nothing true mourning would the world ever see. Our festivals have come to a fruitful end. The story shall not stay its feet, and every night hence shall also be the witch's night. So cool. So cool. I love the idea of witches. A sense of shame surged forth within the little witch as she listened from the shadows. It wasn't out of worry that those present, great witches and greater still, might include her teachers, school principal, instructors, or anything like that. She knew everyone in her school, and she was so sure no one familiar was present. So that wasn't why she was upset. She wasn't like, I don't care, like, I know no one's here that's going to see me. By the way, while the official rules of the school she attended were lax when it came to governing teachers and their students, students of similar age would still be ranked against each other. Students of different teachers were also permitted to interact with outside classes. This is so cool hearing about the actual, learning to become a witch stuff as well. Like, it's almost like a witch's academy or something like that. It's really, really cool. And the idea of showing us the different, how it worked as well. The creation of the system could be traced back to the rise of the Western witches long, long ago. Did not shy away from exchanging secret hexes and rituals from their mutual benefit, which would also result in their swift rise in those days. And of course, the organization that the Little Witch belonged to was a direct successor of the Western Witches. Also, this blurb definitely wasn't just added here because I forgot about the world building earlier. Honestly, it's fair enough. It's fine. Honestly, I appreciate it. It just makes you, the person writing this, feel more human in a way, or more lively, I suppose. I love that we're learning about this stuff, like the idea of the rules and stuff, I guess. Back to the story. She said to the fortune teller, since we have an opportunity to go bravely forth, then once dawn comes, take that fire if you should be so unfortunate as to become a monster. I will give you a quick end. You will not suffer. So, this is what the little witch said to the fortune teller. As a gift to commemorate this French young lady, the young lady gave a treasure crystal ball to the little witch. This crystal ball feels the joy for all known destined paths, and its heart breaks for all unreveled tragedies. If you ever feel lost, allow it to be your oracle. Actually, there's a story behind this crystal ball. So what we're getting from Volume 2, if we just go through, we'll skim through it again. Met the idea of someone becoming a familiar, wanting to see someone we learned about the idea of what they see an Archon, or the description of what an Archon is. how other worlds see like kind of like the stars and like what we see the stars as. There's also like the idea of I love this idea, by the way, performing weight calculation on the sky shroud, right? Like that's such a cool idea. And I guess that's like what Mona's doing, is performing weight calculations on the sky. And there's also the idea of like how to become a familiar, but obviously she doesn't feel like she's a powerful witch yet, so she can do that. To be a familiar means that you like are you share in that witch's magic. They talk about the night carnival, which was like a taboo ceremony where witches are at their most powerful. And then the idea of like the blood green moon. And then I love this idea as well where, you know, the undying flame is like this like thing that's on her mind where she's like, I could take this for myself. And then we learned about kind of like I guess the idea of like not the hierarchy, but the way that the school works, how they're like taught, how they're compared to each other. Very cool. And like where she like, I guess the school came from as well, which is the idea of these Western witches, and the Western witches, they like would share like hexes and secrets and magic, but for their mutual benefit. Very cool stuff. Volume 3. In her travels, the Little Witch encountered a group of people getting ready to kill demon kings. She decided to join them and go kill some demon kings. Oh, this story is about Frieden. They told her, the more demon kings you kill, the greater the witch's power will grow. This is in fact true. Then they encountered a mimic demon king. After this whole affair, the Little Witch would write down Demon King Slaying Chronicle each time she hunted one. They encountered the mimic demon king in a run-down old house. At first, no one knew what was going on, assuming that the place had just gone moldy. After breathing the mold spores in, her companions turned into a following respectively. A shoddy-looking ancient robot, which the Little Witch found really ugly and not up to snuff when compared to alchemy. A beautiful young maiden, this team's member was originally male, leading the witches to initially wonder if that there was some inversion of biological sequential Wait, what? Hold on. So they found the mimic demon king in a rundown old house. And there was a shoddy-looking ancient robot, like a rune guardian, I guess? Wait, and there's so there's like a way to like biologically inverse a person here, I guess, as well in this world, where like you could become a different gender, you know what I mean? I think so. Is that what we're saying? And a pirate? Is that right? That's super interesting. And honestly, a super cool power as well, you know? That you could do this. I guess that's what we're saying here as well. But is that what we're saying? In her companions turned to a fallen respectively, a shoddy-looking ancient robot. So this is what her companions turned it to. Interesting. And a pirate. After some time, everyone in the squad developed identity disorders, considering that her three companions were to be one of the same species. They should not have exhibited such different natures, while symptoms were, by contrast, so similar. The Little Witch discovered that the mold had its own consciousness and a power that allowed similar life forms to return to an ideal state. She did not change because she was already very pleased with herself. Oh, so wait, so like because maybe the boy wanted to be a girl, they became a girl, and they were now a girl. Someone they wanted to be a robot, maybe they weren't happy with themselves, so they became. Why might even just like, hey, I want to be a robot? It might just be a sequence where like maybe it's like. They know that maybe their ideal form is being a woman, being a robot, being a pirate. Is that what we're getting at here? Because that's pretty freaking crazy if they could do. And it's not crazy in a way where it's like, yeah, cool, like, you know, that's like I said, like, you know, a really cool power, you know. But like I just didn't know this like existed in Teva. You know what I mean? Really cool stuff. The Little Witch decided to test the mold's unique properties. Like, it's just a mold that can, like, turn you into what your ideal state, right? Like, that's something I didn't know even was a thing, you know? The Little Witch decided to test the mold's unique properties. She tried ingesting parts of it. Jesus Christ. Finding it to be edible without any side effects. Thus, it might have been a mischaracterization to call it mold, but since the mold in blue mold cheese could also be eaten, she decided to continue using that label. Something worth noting was after the chunk had been cut away, the mold threads would immediately disappear, possibly a sign of rudimentary collective intelligence. To facilitate further communication, the Little Witch wanted to turn into mold. And so she did. As it turned out, the mold colony only sent strange biological signals that needed deciphering. Though repeated observations, it seemed that their level of collective intelligence might be lower than she had previously thought. Okay. In the end, the mold committed suicide. The little witch deciphered its way of communications. As it turned out, the colony experienced dissonance in self-perception and self-dissociation. When it looked upon the little witch, who had become just like them, the signals they sent had in fact been philosophical speculation. Who is me and who am I? Its intelligence was thus much higher than expected. Wait, so the mold has been like, creating like what is the ideal state for these people, who are not happy with themselves. But then they got to look at themselves in terms of like seeing like maybe the reflection of the mold in this witch, and like they didn't really understand who they were, and it changed. They had started having this philosophical like quandaries. That's so interesting. Her friends recovered told the witch that this was the mimic demon king. It was a species of demon king and the same taxonomic class as standard demon kings, but not the same order. It was a shame. She wished she had a chance to observe more and more and make some more records. A very interesting like bit of magic here. Like I just legitimately wasn't expecting this power of like this mold. And honestly, like it's kind of crazy to me that like this is what Genshin does. They'll have this stuff in like the lore aspects of this game, and it's like, man, like this should be its own story quest. Like this is incredible. Encountering a mold demon king. Like a standard mold demon king, I guess, that changes people's form. And then the witch became the demon, the mold itself, and made the mold have a philosophical existential crisis of personality. So interesting. Then they encountered a chipmunk demon king, which her comrades had claimed before was also a species of demon king. It was classified as belonging to the same class as a superorder, as a standard demon king was part of a different grand order. The chipmunk demon king looked very fierce indeed, and the little witch suspected that this aggressiveness stemmed from behaviors acquired during the gestation period while nurturing their offspring. Okay. Infiltrating its old nest, they found that it was male. One of her companions was eaten. It turns out that it simply had a bad temper. So it's just, again, so she thought that maybe like it was the period of time where like mothers will defend their animal offspring. But it actually turned out it was just a bad temper. The little witch decided to report the findings of the investigation to prevent the tragedy from repeating itself. They attempted to feed the chipmunk demon king seeds to lure it out. They lost another companion in the process. Wait, so it said one of her companions was eaten. You know what it actually means? I thought that for a second they were talking about the chipmunk. No, they're talking about like the witch's companions are getting eaten by this chipmunk. It seemed that this creature was not vegetarian at all. Her final companion fled, having deduced from the pattern of events thus far that he was next on the chopping block. This was an incomplete logical induction. Both the process and conclusion were mistaken. Eventually, she used high-grade boar meat to lure out the chipmunk demon king into a trap. The creature indicated that it also had an organ enabling to breathe underwater. A complete vacuum was used to dispatch it in the end. It seems that this still required aerobic respiration. Many demon kings seem powerful, but they all have their weaknesses. The same is true for alchemic life forms. Finally, the little witch had to face a standard demon king, a great demon king, and a primate of the primate order. So, okay, go over this a little bit as well. Not like, again, a lot of crazy stuff here. So they wanted to kill demon kings because you'll become your witch's power will grow greater. The mimic demon king was mold, right? And basically what they were doing is when you breed in the spores, they would become different forms. And everyone in the squad developed identity disorders, considering that the three companions that appear before the same species, they would have exhibited such different natures. So what she discovered is that like the identity disorders that people were having was the idea that people like, are not happy with themselves or their person. And while like say like a robot might not be like what they thought of like what they wanted to become, the spores were making them become the ideal idea of what they probably wanted to be, maybe stronger in that case, maybe more feminine when it came to the male, maybe like, the person wanted to be more free. So, what's hermaphrodism and sequential for I don't know what that means. Maybe I can look it up. No, it's fine. Because what I think it's getting at here is like a beautiful young maiden. This scene was originally male, leading to which, and I wonder if there's some inversion of biological subsequent properties. I think it's like this idea, like the idea is that, like, again, I wonder if like it is like not just like directly them saying I want to become a robot, but it's like I want to be stronger. It's not like I want to become a pirate. Or maybe it's I want to be more like, feminine, or I don't know, like it's all these things that maybe like, and maybe it just became like this ideal state for them. They discovered it had intelligence, and the mold had its own existential crisis, which is absolutely such an interesting story as well. And then the Chipmunk Demon King, who devoured some of her companions, and in the end was able to defeat that Demon King and then encountered a primate order as well. Volume 4. So the Little Witch found a great Demon King. I'm sure you all remember that Killy defeating more Demon Kings causes the witches to grow stronger. As such, the Little Witch was actually already amazingly powerful now. Amazing. The Great Demon King was simply no match for her. Can you really kill a being that looks like a human and has intelligence? Shouted the Great Demon King in desperation. You're right. I really didn't do anything to you anyway, said the Little Witch. I've never forgotten that my goal is to find the Undying Fire. Researching, observing, and defeating Demon Kings was never a means to an end, but rather just building of the basic level of power. Then she used, sorry, I don't know magic or mysticism, some super powerful, awesome technique to bind the Great Demon King and brought it back to the largest nearby city. So this is a story about this witch, and she's saying that, like, hey, I don't know what she did, but she was able to bind the Demon King and bring it back to nearby city. As a trainee, the Western witches had come out to take her exam. She naturally had credentials that proved her identity. We have to get Volume 5. This provided her convenient passage through many mortal kingdoms. Such things were also proven to be immensely hard to forge, thus avoiding the possibility of any cliche plot lines. This actually presented the mayor of the city with a conundrum. Right, so she's able to go through any kingdom at this point as well. Okay. The mayor with a conundrum. And yes, this is a good time to say that this nation was a loose confederacy. And since this was a mayor, there was no aristocracy or hereditary titles, no like king, I guess. For the handling of this great Demon King was truly quite tricky. I'm sure you all quite remember that the dominant race of this planet was the Nephilim, a hybrid of humans and gods, right? So the race of the Great Demon King is actually the Demon King class. This might not even be Teyvat. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So Demon Kings were thus the type of Nephilim. And of course, since they were the dominant race, this meant that Nephilim were one on the whole much stronger than normal humans. And since the setting for this world was as hybrid of humans and gods, this meant that it has gods too. And taking a step back, the Nephilim had also a certain degree of legal immunity. If they had 5 humans or fewer, they couldn't be judged by human laws and had to be repatriated to Nephilim lands. And as it happened, this Great Demon King had only stolen and eaten several thousand boars and chickens. So wait, so because they only killed 5 humans or lower, and they actually didn't even kill any humans, they were given like a legal immunity because they had like... Wow. So because they didn't interfere too much with human laws, I guess they were judged as by humans? Is that what we're getting at? Is that what we're saying? Because they were so powerful they couldn't be judged by human laws, and since they didn't actually kill any humans, they couldn't be judged by humans. So this was the fast turning a diplomatic political issue. Of course, the mayor could just stick the Western witches with all the blame, but that would offend every witch on the continent. Plus, the mayor was also a good friend of the Little Witch. She would never do anything that would hurt the organization of witches as a whole. Following some diplomatic rhetoric, some policies to appease it, and the explanation of the pros and cons, the captured Great Demon King accepted that the retribution should only be exacted on the party who had done the wrong, meaning that his ire was now narrowed on the Little Witch alone. So, what they're saying, are they saying, and again, please correct me, are they saying that this place that has this mayor, the mayor's like, oh my god, we captured this demon who can't actually be trialed by us. He has to be sent back to the Nephilim lands, but it's because they made a mistake, I guess. They're worried about what this Nephilim was going to do to them. And so he was like, no, I'm not going to punish all you guys. It was the witch. So he could have defeated her, so that was the end of that, really. So he kind of just like canceled it out, because it's like, okay, I'm only going to blame this little witch, but because the little witch could actually kill me, it's over. You know what I mean? We'll let bygones be bygones, I guess. Interesting. Finally, I hope everyone remembers the crystal ball because the witch's goal had become foggy at this stage, so she tried to take out and have a look at it. So, like, the original goal was the undying flame. And it says here, like, in Volume 4, that she was, like, you know, taking on these demon kings as, like, kind of like as I think she said, like, what was, like, a means to an end just to get stronger. And so she had credentials about all over the world, is what she said, and she, like, presented the mayor with a conundrum. So she, and it was about like bringing the demon king to the mayor, probably put the mayor in a very tough place because the mayor was kind of like, these guys have like immunity because they're so powerful, and like he hasn't even done anything to like humans in this place. He hasn't killed any humans, so there's nothing we can do about it. And in the end, since the witch is so powerful, the demon king decided to cancel out. So what we're learning here as well, wherever this is, it's not an aristocracy. They have like different hierarchies of law, like stewardship and mayorship and stuff like this. And there's also like laws based around like the Nephilim because they're so powerful. It had like this like, it couldn't be judged by human laws unless it killed more than 5 humans. If they kill 6 humans, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you have to be judged by human law. Because you can't do this stuff. Because now it's like actually like a problem, I guess. Very, very interesting. So it's like it became a political issue. So let's find Volume 5 because we have Volume 6 and we don't have Volume 7. Let's find the other volumes. Hopefully they're around here somewhere. Feline Firm. I don't know if I'll read the Feline Firm today. I don't think so, but we have the Little Witch book for sure. It's a very interesting story so far. Is this one? There's 7. Is there one up here? I never actually know where they're going to be. Oh, there it is. And that should be all of them, right? Yeah, this is so interesting so far. We'll go over everything like afterwards as well, but like I find this so interesting so far. The idea of this like clearly like I'm guessing like this, especially since they said they had a tea party, I'm guessing this isn't one of the members of the Hexen Circle, right? They must have like invited her back then for a tea party, because if you find the Undying Flame, if she does find the Undying Flame, but all this and this power that she has of defeating all these demon kings, you'd have to imagine that she like is like ultra powerful here, you know? I think we can like filter to like just up collected maybe, because I think we have all of them now, right? Yeah, and we got to volume 5, right? Volume 2 was a very long one. Volume 5 is too long. I think we'll skip Volume 5 because it's too long. No, I'm joking. I'm definitely joking. Yeah, we'll skim everything again just so we can like make sure we're like getting a good idea of this, and then I'm gonna try like one bit of the Imaginarium Theater stuff. Volume 5, a familiar face surfaces in the crystal ball. This is your magic teacher speaking. The trial is over. You were unable to obtain your witch's license, so they spent so much time like doing the Demon King stuff that they didn't even get the Undying Flame. That's real. Oh my god. Volume 6. What a way to end Volume 5 as well. The Volume 6. The little witch hurried to where the teacher was. She wanted to question her teacher face to face about why the test had ended, and why she not permitted to become a witch. She wanted to throw things on the ground in front of her teacher, though of course she would only chuck the ones that could survive the impact, and that she could practically lift herself, while avoiding her teacher's favorite teacup. Oh my god. Wait. Who was her teacher, I wonder? Again, it's probably lore we've seen like a little bit before of, but like I'm thinking, when I think of teacup, like I'm thinking of like, you know, the first thing that comes to my mind is like one of the Hexen Circle, like Alice or whatever, you know? Of course, the situation warranted it. She was even willing to smash her own second favorite teacup to show how serious this was all. After all, that's very adorable, isn't it? After all, she had bought that one herself rather than having it given to her by friends. She valued such gifts as much as friends themselves, and whenever used a part as an emotional outburst. I think that's such a very beautiful expression. The idea that like stuff you buy yourself is just like a gift to yourself, you know? Octavia's back. Go catch up with her. That was what our teachers said calmly the moment they saw each other again. In an instant, the emotion the little witch had stored up, brewed, fermented, plotted, and rehearsed pouring out countless times vanished. Octavia was a good friend of hers, and a good friend also the legendary old witch. Her home had been destroyed, but she lacked the courage to fight back. She had taken up a life of eternal wandering. When I think of Old Witch, I think of Mona's teacher as well, right? I think of all this stuff. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that I get the idea of, you know? She had seen many worlds and told the little witch many tales about the sky beyond the sky. The sky beyond the sky as well. The entire cosmos is going to die soon. Things peaked not long ago and are about to go south very fast. Octavia was sitting in the yard, swathed in the flowing sunlight, pouring tea into teacups she had and the little witch loved most. The little witch pulled up a chair and sat in it. You returned so suddenly, she said. We didn't even prepare a chair for you. You're probably sitting in the old witch's chair now. So the little witch just sat in the old witch's chair? Many stars of the cosmos have gone out. I don't know how much time is left, Octavia said, so I want you to come back and see you. So the stars are dying out, is what she's saying. The idea of the sky being a lie and stuff like this, right? And like, so if the stars are dying out, I wonder if that like is a term of like the lie is dying out, or like the film or whatever that we have up with the sky is dying out. We're going to be learning about hopefully more of that soon this year, I think. Is that when my teacher and the others stopped all the witches' tests? Because you came back and told them this, the little witch asked. Perhaps in such a world, all things lose meaning and there's no longer any need for you to become a witch. Then I shan't be angry at my teacher any longer, the little witch said. But will you be mad at me? I caused you to lose your chance to become one. Oh said. I will if you never return after leaving this time, came the little witch's reply. I'll go to the bedroom to get your chair. Wait, what? Will you be mad at me if you never... Oh, she's saying if you don't come back this time, because obviously she definitely cared about her as well. Okay. I'm going to sit in the old witch's chair, can't I? She's too old to get up and come sit in nowadays. That's no good. The chair is hers, just as yours chairs is yours. The little witch argued her case earnestly with, to each person a chair, and that way, even if they're not present, their memories will be seated. Still, so we absolutely can't use the wrong chairs. Octavia smiled helplessly, just like it kind of reminds you of the Hexa Circle, right? Like the idea that, like, you know, even if they're not there, their presence is still there at the tea party, you know? And by the way of apology for interrupting the process of the witch of becoming a proper one, she gave the latter piece of news. The undying flame really exists. It may be found at... Oh my god. So O is definitely like a Hexen Circle member, right? Octavia. It seems that they also predicted the idea of like or have foreseen the idea of like the cosmos dying. Which again, does not mean like the actual cosmos or the fake sky. You know, the concept of the fake sky. Which again, we're going to be learning more about this year as well. Such an interesting conversation between these two as well. Such an interesting conversation. On Volume 7. As she was buffeted by the waves of time, passing through the vortex of countless casualties, converged, piercing countless threads of the weave, she missed a great many things. There's the weave, by the way. Even the memorial of the great witch she had so admired ended, deserted, without her in attendance. Whatever they are, the point is that the little witch passed through all manner of haphazard trials and the challenges of nonsensical stuff before she managed to arrive before the old witch. Actually, it's just a little, that the little witch didn't think those experiences were worth talking about, nor did she know why anyone bothered spilling so much ink about all that earlier stuff. When all's said and done, the most important things were the witch's tea party and the goals she was pursuing, right? In truth, she had already seen it before her journey began. In the sky as dark as a sack of coal, or perhaps a cavern for as all we know, there's no difference between the two. There hung a star, giving off a weak radiance, resting the world's darknesses encroached on every side. As the universe gradually grew dim, all the stars and the stars known as suns were extinguished one by one. Everyone agreed to call it the Star of Scorpio. The little witch remembered hearing about this during the witch's tea party, but she only remembered the name and nothing else. Wait, what? The Star of Scorpio. Hold on, let me just... So a star that was encroached by darkness on every side was called the witch. It was called the. I think here it says the little witch remembered hearing about it during the witch's tea party. And the old witch was the Star of Scorpio. So the Star of Scorpio is a star that was encroached by darkness on each side. That which burned still, even the end of all things. However, her flame was very weak now, barely a faint ember. The little witch held her hand, which had become dry and brittle as a withered branch. She remembered the old witch was once a little witch as well, a very beautiful way of putting it. With a pale, tender hand, her pale, tender hands that once elegantly held teacups, those same hands had been used to bring forth magic, kindling the flames on many worlds. The little witch said, "Look, it looks like everyone doesn't want a flame to go out, and I get it. It can't be helped. The last time we said farewell, you were there too. The witches said that long-lived witches would lose many things, and the years went by, life, death, love, and hate would cease to have much meaning. But that isn't true. Those aren't just words they used to comfort the companions who departed before them. Those are just words. Witches, in fact, treasure every infantilism, flame, and the light that shines in the dark world, bereft of all hope, all the more. They hold even the shadows that these flames would cast dear. You often said that you weren't our equal, but I always believed that you were to be the cutest, most powerful witch among us. You often said that you left a little behind, but the stories you left to us hold countless worlds. Even should 100 years pass or 1,000 years. Even if the apocalypse that a certain astrologer witch worried about comes, even if all long-lived witches die, the little light that emanates from these little worlds will not grow dim. That's right. You were the greatest witch, far greater than all of us. I miss you. Farewell." The old witch did not respond, for all that was left for her was an empty husk, no different from the many others that little witch had encountered in her adventures. Indeed, they were even made of the same basic materials, with the only difference between those this being the minuscule light of a flame. And so the little witch took the flame that was burning the old witch and set out homeward, a homeward journey. Anyway, let's stop the story here. The little witch's adventures would continue, though, for Jari decided to bring the old witch's fire across the universe to light every last corner of time. Wait a second. Am I to believe here that the world was getting covered in darkness and the stars were dying, and the little witch took the undying flame, which actually seemed to be... Am I wrong in saying that the way they described it here was like the idea of like how the Star of Scorpio was like a one light amongst a sea of darkness, the encroaching darkness? Giving off weak radiance, resisting the world's darkness, encroaching on either side. As the universe gradually grew dim, all the stars known as the suns were extinguished one by one. Everyone agreed to call the Star of Scorpio. So did she take the Star of Scorpio, which was the flame that was burning this witch, the old witch, and she brought it across the whole world and lit the world up once more that was covered in darkness? Because she says here as well that like that there's the idea that like where is it here? Witches, in fact, treasure every infinitesimal flame and light that shines in the dark world, but bereft of hope of all more. They hold even the shadows that these flames would cast dear. So, are they saying that the witches like appreciate the idea of like every flame, no matter how undying or small or gigantic it is? It's so. Is that what we're getting here? Like the idea that like that she was like kind of like an undying flame herself. And she took that flame and brought it all around the world as well. So in terms of like volume 7, I'm trying to reread some stuff here as well. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing here. I think that's again, the Star of Scorpio seems to be the old witch that they were talking about. And that witch would burn still, even at the end of all things. However, her flame was very weak now, barely a faint ember. So that's why she took the flame and brought it around the world to use it to light up the world. She was pale and tender, pale and tender hands. She was brittle. It's so interesting to me, this idea as well. Then that like, did they set like? And again, if this is the truth, maybe I'm interpreting this wrong. But if that is the case, like, and she brought out a. If they sent her on a task to find an undying flame, is there this idea that they wanted her to find, how do I say it? They wanted her to find the old witch and reignite that? And maybe they just gave her a task that was like really difficult, that was impossible, and just for the sake of it. But I think at the end she like completed her task, but like in a very different way, it seems. I guess that's the case as well. So let's like go through, like, let's skim. It's a lot of stuff to skim through, but let's skim through a lot of stuff here as well, just so we can like kind of get a good idea of like what was. Again, I'm not gonna. You guys are gonna have to help quite a bit as well as usual, but that's okay with me as well. So we started off with the idea of the little witch trying to find the undying flame. It was a task that was given to her by the I I guess the witches or her teachers, or the people that taught her, or the people who gave her this task were her teachers, and each person gets a task they have to complete. But her task was like giving like an absolutely like, you know, extremely difficult task. But what happened here was the idea that like they gave her more time as well to complete this task, and if she did this, she could get a spot at the witch's tea party. Volume 2 is about her finding the familiar, I believe, as well, and the idea of talking about the Nephilim. The Nephilim were the people that were like a mix between gods and humans, and their blood was a mix between the red blood and the golden divine blood, and these creatures were like so much more powerful than humans at this time as well, and even some demon kings could be called Nephilim at the same time too. She met like this young lady who claimed to be a fortune teller. The fortune teller wanted to become her familiar, and a familiar is someone who shares in the magic of the witch that they're you know, joining up with. They talked about the idea of celestial bodies as archons, and the idea of how other worlds see archons, and how archons in Tevat might be seen as like, you know, the will that comes down from the heavens themselves in that way too. And the idea of astrologers are pouring away calculations in the sky chart. Is that what Mona's doing also at the same time? There's the idea of like how she saw the undying flame, she could take it for herself, but it seems that she didn't do this, even though she could have. There's also the idea of the night carnival, which is when the witches are at the most powerful, and it's like open to like many witches. Like I believe it used to be open just the most powerful, but I think it's open to like a lot more. I think they said as well. They danced around the bonfire, and shadows in the street that grew thick. Yeah. And so then there's also the other blood green moonlight, of course, as well. And they sang this song also the same too. There was like this shameless idea where she could like, she wasn't worried about like people seeing her here, but yeah, she wanted to maybe take the flame for herself. In volume 3, she started like, you know, destroying demon kings, which is where we saw the story of like the mold demon king, and the idea of like witches defeating the demon king will give you more power, make you more powerful. But there's also these like crazy magic that I didn't even know existed. The idea of like a mold that turns people into what they could be like their ideal selves, but also have enough thought to have like existential crises as well. There's like other demon kings she defeated too, and she became so powerful that basically she like destroyed. She got to like a great demon king, as you saw here as well. She was able to like almost back him into fear, where she was able to actually defeat him. And we learned as well like that there's these laws in place as well to like protect the idea of like diplomatically protect the idea of the Nephilim. And the Nephilim, like, if they, it seems like, yeah, if they kill less than 5 humans, then they can't be trialed by human laws, and they can't be judged by human laws. And since they couldn't be judged by human laws, her tying him up and bringing him to this bear put the bear in like a very tricky situation. So the mayor's kind of like, Jesus Christ, like, what am I supposed to do here? But because the Will of Witch became so powerful, there's nothing they could really do, I suppose, at this point as well. And then obviously they talked about her failing the trial. She didn't get her license. And then they talked to Octavia, and Octavia is basically saying that like the cosmos is dying. Like I've seen this now as well, and even though this kind of like subsided her anger a little bit, the little witch's anger, when she found out the idea of like the stars were dying, the cosmos was dying, and this like, you know, obviously was like very upsetting to hear, but like it made it like understandable why maybe like, you know, she had to come back and why she couldn't get her witch's license, because like it wasn't going to matter, I think, at some point as well. Maybe I'm wrong with that phrasing as well. It's like, hey, like if the cosmos dies out and all the stars die out, then like what's the point of this stuff as well? In such a world, all things lose meaning. There's no longer need for you to become a witch. That's the thing. And it's like they said the witches like care about like every flame, no matter how small. So in this case, we have this idea that they cared about this idea that like they how do I say it? They like looked at this if the cosmos dies out and all the light dies out and the stars die out, then this world will have no meaning to them. And I guess like as well, especially since like the witch themselves, like they looked at like the what's it called? What's it called again? The Star of Scorpio was like the old witch. So they saw that like the undying flame was like these, I guess, how do I say it? Like I know I'm like all over the place, but there's a lot here. It seems that like, you know, the idea of like a world without the stars and without the cosmos, like not only could they not show people's destinies or like divine the future of this world, but it's also this thing where it's like it's a world of darkness that like, you know, it doesn't have any light or doesn't have any like, you know, in this case, a flame that is seen as someone's like life force. It feels like the life force is being sucked out of the world as well. She talked here as well about the idea of like not sitting in the wrong chair, sitting in the right chair. I think it's such a beautiful sentiment. It's like, even if they're not here, they will still be there. I think that makes a lot of sense if Octavia is like a Hex and Circle member, because this idea of like, even if you're gone, your chair is still here, that's still you. Even if the old witch is gone, the chair is still here, that's still her. You're still present in the way too. And the last thing was the idea of like, getting, the witch's tea party and the goal she was pursuing. The idea of like this one star, which is called the Star of Scorpio, was like a star that was like the only star left, a weak radiance that rested in the world's darkness, and the darkness was coming in on either side of it. The old witch, who was actually the Star of Scorpio, was this one faint light that was in this world that burned still, and even at the end of all things. So it was the end of all things. It really felt like it was the end of all things, which become a dry and brittle with a branch. Maybe it was her end of all things as well. And then she took that flame, bid her farewell, and used it to light up the entire world around her. And I think we heard something like that before, but the idea of that is so interesting to me. The idea of like how much value they put on the stars and how much value they put on the world being so bright and light in this sense as well. And that's why they made a full-on attempt. Or that's why she took the undying flame of this older witch, the old witch, and kind of spread it all around the world and lit up this entire world. What we got from this information for me as well, and maybe like I'm misinterpreting some stuff, is the idea of like not only showing like this journey of this witch, of maybe making it to the witch's tea party, which I think is the Hexen Circle, right? Is the idea of like making it to the Hexen Circle, become a member of the Hexen Circle, because look, we have all these seats here as well. We know this is Alice's seat, right? How many members are there of the Hexen Circle again? Let me just check here now as well. There is... how many? 1... Is there 7? But there's 8 chairs here, right? So maybe that's not... oh, there's with 1 for music. Maybe? Is that what we're getting at? Maybe? Is there 8 or 7 witches? But yeah, I loved hearing about the idea of like how witches got their licenses, like the tasks they would have to like do as well. They have to go off and like, each one has a different task, and it just so happens that the witch that we're talking to now got like a really difficult task as well. We learned about the idea of Nephilims and the Demon Kings, which is so cool as well. How other worlds see the idea of an Archon, not just our world. The idea of like this world dying out and the sky dying out, and it being relit as well at the same time also. I wonder, will that come into play as well when it comes to like the stuff that we're learning now of Non-Karai that's coming up too, like especially with the research that we see that like Dotori is doing on this stuff also. Stuff that was already known by Vaughn, and I wonder if Vaughn's going to come back into play with that also. So much like really cool information on display in that book, and I think like it was a really beautiful story that didn't seem like too over the top in terms of like, how do I say, it didn't seem like too mystical and magical. It seemed very casual in its speaking, but like a lot of the stuff that was being said was like really, really, really cool stuff as well. We learned we had the Nephilim and the hierarchy and the diplomatic stuff with the hierarchy with them as well, and how powerful they were compared to like normal people. We got to see like how other witches were treated in the actual Witches Academy also. How much this little witch valued the idea of like the other witches in this Hexen Circle too, which I think that this little witch probably became a member of the Hexen Circle, right? I wouldn't be able to say which Hexen Circle member it is, honestly. I could try my best, but I would not be able to say which Hexen Circle member it is. But I imagine that she did become a member of the Hexen Circle. You guys can help with the lore as well. As you guys know, like I'm very like, I don't mind being corrected, but you guys being helped out by you guys. This is like a lot of stuff that's like within this. I might even like come back at some point and talk more about this if I misinterpret some stuff, and like maybe I'll even talk to some people about this as well, and we'll see whatever I can interpret as well. But it's, to me, like it's all really, really, really cool information that honestly has fried my brain a little bit, not in a bad way. It's just like there's so much, but it's a really cool story at the same time also. Summary of everything. It's about a little witch who was sent on a journey to find the Undying Flame. The Undying Flame does in fact exist, is what Octavia was saying. She went on a long journey, around a way, became so much more powerful, learned the idea of familiars, got an idea of this world, traveled the entire world, came back and, thought she had lost her task completely. And my interpretation is the idea that she did find an Undying Flame, It's just that you use this to light the entire world. I guess that's my interpretation of it, at the very least. But it's very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. There's obviously deeper parts of the story that we talked about there, and a lot of like little intricate parts of the story too. Probably some stuff I missed too. Please point it out. But yeah, to me, really, really, really cool. So this is the Imaginarium Theater stuff. So this is the opening characters. Only Electro, Cryo, and Dendro characters, as well as special guest stars, may perform in the season's show. Performance prep. So this is a really cool UI, by the way. It's gorgeous. Select supporting characters. What? So these are my characters, right? No. Wait. These are my characters. Yeah. Wait. These are also my characters. So you need to have Electro. Which then would be official. We need to have Cryo, which would be Eula, right? We need to have Dendro, which would be Nahida, right? Now, do you have to... So support cast characters can assist friends in their performances and up to... Oh, wait. So other people can take these characters. I don't think anyone would want my characters, but... if you want to use them, you can. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Let me know how that works. I have no problem setting up like a... So there's awards as well. Oh, cool. You get like gems as well. So if you go to performance prep, really cool UI. Easy mode, normal mode, hard mode. 16 characters to start the show. So should we try just like... What I'll do is I'll do these 3. So we'll start with easy to see what it's like here as well. Level 80 Chi-Chi, thank God. So these are our characters we're using. Is it... Do I go into next? What is happening? Alternate cast members and special guest stars. Alternate cast members can be used to replenish your principal cast, complete combat events, or choose companion events in order for them to join principal cast. Special guest star designated selectable characters that do not need to meet the elemental requirements for that season. In addition, the blessing level buffs received by special guest stars increased by 100%. Okay. Okay, these are just like the different things that we have as well. Okay. So these are special guest stars? This is kind of confusing. So do you have to like... And you can invite supporting cast if you want to. So I guess we go to the challenge. I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll try it out. All sorts of events can happen during the Imaginarium Theater challenge. Of course, these companion events allow alternate cast members to join your principal cast, while Wondrous Boons, Brilliant Blessings can grant your party combat buffs. Okay, so there's like different things that could happen during it. After selecting companion, Wondrous Boons, Brilliant Blessings, or Mystery Cachet, events other than combat events will be refreshed. When a combat event is selected, you will go on stage and start the current performance. Characters who haven't yet participated in the game mode have a chance to provide external audience support for companion events, bringing you additional benefits. Wait, so do we choose? So plus 90, minus 80, companion cryo. So I just picked the first one? I have no idea. You cannot choose another event until you finish the battle. Let's try it out. It's easy mode. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. I've no... Oh my god. Was this similar to where we fought the boss in the menu? You can restart performance to change your party setup and try to challenge again. Okay, that's cool. Thank you so much. I just kind of want to like try it out anyway. So we can use Sino, which is gonna be so fun. Nihida, Chi-Chi, of course. Is that good? Should we have picked more principal cast members? Oh my god, what is this? Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so cool. That's legit so cool. So you defeat these opponents within the time limit. Forgive me that I'm not gonna like totally know how to use Sino, but I'll try my best. But like I've always like wanted Sino as a character. Look how cool he is. Look at this. So freaking cool. This is such a cool setting. This is... Get it, Gigi, get it, Gigi. This is like an astronomically cool setting. Obviously, this is like the easier one as well, right? But yeah, no, I can't believe how cool this setting is. Oh. Okay. Even the music is like heavenly as well.
I see everything.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Sino is very, very fun to use. And honestly, like, even though obviously I'm not gonna fully understand him, like just he kind of like it's just like, you know, to me like another pick up and play character is just incredibly fun to play, right? So you have to defeat all opponents within 75 seconds. I think I can do that, right? I think we can do that. So let's start this again, right? Within 75 seconds. I think we can do this. I love this, by the way. It's so cool. Such a cool idea. Look at this setting.
Everyone hold hands. Midnight Phantasmagoria. Sacred name.
I should be using all the abilities I can as well, by the way. And actually, Nikida's ability is probably going to be perfect for this stuff as well. It's already been 46 seconds?
I see everything.
Yeah. Okay, come on now. Oh no, it hasn't before. Maybe me not being able to do the math here.
As you wish, main Fräulein.
I feel like I could definitely do. Again, I'm not used to like doing like combat challenges, but I feel like I could definitely do it.
Your sins weigh upon your soul. Your penance is due. You stand condemned.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not used to doing combat challenges whatsoever, but like, yeah, it's yeah, okay, that's fine. Choose an alternate cast member to join the principal cast. Okay. Farisa? Wait, what? This is the bear. He's like moving.
Oh, no, sorry.
What?
Guests, hello.
Hello.
I've been waiting here for the longest time and nobody came. I
Oh
was
my
only planning
God.
to rest my eyes for a bit, but the sofa was so comfy. I guess I dozed off.
It's no problem whatsoever. He can't talk.
Sure can. Talking is one of the things I can do. All right. So, yes. Introductions are in order, aren't they?
Sure.
Greetings, my dear guests. My name is.
This is so fun. This is like a fairy tale itself.
Wait. What's my name?
Whatever you wanted it to be, you're so adorable.
Not sure we can help you with that one, buddy. Guess you were in a pretty deep sleep, huh? Seems like you're still waking up.
You're Sir Howlsworth.
Huh?
I love the name. He's like, yeah, sure.
We're just messing with you.
I think Sir Howlsworth's an amazing name.
Anyway, Paimon's name is Paimon, and this is the Traveler.
Excuse me.
This mysterious room doesn't rob everyone of their memories.
Yeah, this is so fun. This is so fun.
I must apologize. I must have slept for so long that I can't remember what's real and what's a dream anymore. I did have a lot of dreams while I was asleep.
Of course, we're talking to a talking wolf here now. No, like even like the setting of that Imaginarium Theater battle was really, really cool. And now we have this as well. This place just feels so fantastical and magical, you know?
Okay, concentrate. All right, so if I'm not mistaken, the current me is a concierge in charge of attending to any guests that find themselves here.
Okay.
Ah, yes, you may call me Wolfie.
Hello, Wolfie. How are you doing?
Okay, but, if all you can remember are your dreams, what makes you think any of them are real experiences? They're just products of your imagination, right?
I'm being very smart here, right?
You mean, if it comes from my imagination, it can't be real life? Well, it sounds like you know more about that kind of thing than I do. I can't tell the difference at all.
Well, that's okay. This is we could help, like, you know. I mean, this is it's you're in a place that does feel very like imagination focused and magic focused, you know.
I remember a time when a horrid curse was put on me. My heart was cased in unmelting ice, and I had to spend my days in agonizing solitude, surrounded by nothing but boundless tundra.
That does sound pretty awful.
I also remember playing with Whitefang in the misty forest. We chased golden butterflies, waded through rushing streams, and shattered the very moon beneath our feet.
I just got this sudden hit of just like, this is so fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this is like a specific character that was built for this theater that I never would have met. You know what I mean? Never. Like, this character Wolfie existed in all my time when I was playing Genshin. And like, you guys know how much I adore like fairy tale-like characters, you know, almost like Ghibli-esque in a way as well, you know?
And I'll never forget marching in that celebratory procession with the other troops, being showered in confetti as I excitedly waited for Her Majesty the Queen to bestow her honor upon me. It was glorious.
And the voice is really good too.
To me, all these events are indistinguishable from real experiences. Take my latest dream, for instance. I remember being in a garden of forking paths, and Madame Mage said to me, "From now on, you are a concierge. Be sure to treat your guests well."
Okay. So you remember that at least. That's good.
And I found myself here. And like I said, I waited,
Oh, little run.
waited, and waited. And now, finally, 2 guests have arrived. At last, I can fulfill my duty.
Good stuff. Really good stuff.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
Yes, Madame Mage.
Yeah, and who is this Madame Mage? Is she really just a
Is
figure from
Alice?
your dream? Seems like there could be more to it than just that.
Well, Madame Mage is Madame Mage. Just as
So it's
you,
just
dear
just
guests,
that's what it is.
are guests. She and her friends. Oh yes.
Okay, it's the Hex
they're
Circle.
mages too. Each one of them is a master of their own type of magic, conjuring, illusions, and so on.
Right. It definitely is the it's the Hexen Circle. Yeah, of
One
course.
them
Of course.
uses a quill pen to cast her spells. She has a very mysterious ink bottle that contains fantasy truth. I had a little taste when she wasn't looking, and
Oh my god, you
goodness,
no.
was it bitter. Blech.
He was eating the ink. Wait, I wonder if that was who wrote the story, because they mentioned ink in that story as well, right? If we wrote the story about the little witch.
But the other mages all love her magic. They use their powers of creation to transform her fantasy truth into true fantasy.
Wait. That's like the summer event. The summer event from last year, right? Like the idea of creating a story that people can live in. Because that's like, am I, you know, going crazy about this idea? The idea like of bringing stories to life. The idea of bringing fantasy truth into true fantasy.
How do they do that? I haven't the slightest idea. I'm just a toy with stuffing for
You're
brains.
much more than that. You're a new best friend.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
Yes, about this room.
Yeah, what is this place? We came in here through this one door in the library, but we were never able to open it before.
Ah, well, congratulations on your successful entry, dear guests.
His
This
voice
a
is so good.
Special room, one that can only be accessed by those who are invited.
So we were invited.
Seeing as you two have this privilege, you can invite your friends to enter as well.
So that's what, okay, like the, so it's like actually a canonical way of looking at the battles, right?
On that note, I'd better tidy up this place as quickly as possible. Oh, and I should prepare some tea and snacks too. You don't mind if they're on the sweeter side, do you?
Paimon does not mind whatsoever. I do not mind whatsoever. You are adorable.
Of course not. Wait, before we get ahead of ourselves, mind telling us where we are exactly? Are we even still in Mondstadt?
That is a difficult question. Madam Mage created this room using magic, and I don't know magic. Still, you have my guarantee as concierge that this is a safe and comfortable place. I sincerely hope you enjoy your time here.
Oh my god. Thank you so much.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
Okay, so this room is created by magic, I guess, and a lot of the answers that he's giving us, like, as well, like, if you look at this stuff here, it's like, it's like, it's just like, that's just how it is, right? I don't know, like, this is just how it is before, right? You know, it's really interesting, but, like, I think, like, what the loosest explanation we're getting here is the idea that's like, well, look, I don't know exactly what this place is, but you were invited, so you're supposed to be here. That book in the battle we just fought?
Yes, I saw. You were magnificent.
You're
I was
adorable.
Completely enraptured by your performance.
You're coming with us. You're no longer a concierge. Alice, we're hiring this new person as another party member.
What do you mean, performance?
Well, Madam Mage says that every page of a storybook is a segment of the present. I'm sure only the most distinguished of guests are able to take the stage as the story's protagonists and put on a show as spectacular as yours. What a thrilling battle! Yes, that's what every story needs to spice things up. Naturally, those are the kinds of stories I love reading the most. I wonder what would make a good title for a book about your magnificent performance. Should we call it a saga? An epic? A tale of conquest? A chronicle of combat? Choices.
Whatever you want to call it. You call it whatever you want.
In any case, I do hope you will be so kind as to indulge us with more of your fine performances. In fact, scratch that. I'm afraid I shall have to insist. The story of the present is waiting to be written, and you, dear guests, are the ones to fill its pages. Is there anything else you'd like to ask?
That's fine. So I guess, like, it's the idea of creating a new story through this, like, I guess, performance, I guess, as well.
This place is getting more confusing by the second, but Wolfie seems
That's the way I see it, Paimon, honestly.
So we should be fine, right? Besides, our goal is to set foot in every corner of Teyvat, and the courage to boldly go where others dare not
my
to tread
God.
is what will take us there.
This is why Paimon is Genshin. She is Genshin Impact. Look at this.
Wow, what a wonderful line! Spoken like a true adventurer.
Yeah, Paimon's a true adventure. Paimon, you're gonna love Wolfie.
You bet! We're the real
We
deal.
are. Look at this team.
Is that so? Well then, I'd better make sure I do my duty as concierge of this place. I hope this can be somewhere for you to rest and recuperate when you're weary, so that you can embark on your next adventure refreshed and renewed.
Sure.
Come back here anytime if you get tired. I'll be sure to take good care of
So
you.
this was super fun, right? The idea of having like a new character here as well. So we have like and that's for rewards, I guess. Okay, cool. Wait, there's just characters here? Wait, what? This is probably something people said to me, but I just forgot. Oh my god, it's all like... Oh my god. What do I do? What do I do?
As the general
my God!
mantra, I have to display the might of the academia. Whatever enemy we face, I will give it my all. In battle, as with delivering judgment, the righteous must prevail. And so we must approach every battle with great
That's so
caution.
fun. And look at the way he's talking about this as
I am
well.
armed with the determination to uphold the rules. There is no battle I cannot win.
Sino giving a determined speech here about the freaking Imaginarium Theater. Do you say anything else?
As the
No, it's the same thing. Okay.
in battle, I am
Love
armed
that
with
they're just here and giving a canonical reason why they would be here, right? A canonical reason. Does that mean if we invited Vanessa too? Does that mean she's somewhere around here, or is that just a different thing altogether? Okay, let's talk to our gal official. How are you doing?
Huh? This is supposed
Oh my god.
I've been looking for this for ages. I can't believe it. I wonder what else there is around here that I've been missing.
Oh.
I mean, the scrolls of destiny that anchored this realm in time and space make for a rather interesting read.
She's so right.
Oz, lend me thy beak and lift the veil of darkness. By the power of my Ode de Verurtelang, the tears and suffering described herein shall be etched in my memory, and so shall I bestow upon them my blessing.
That's so fun. I love when she does that. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Fish is one of my favorite characters. But I do love that, like, you know, like, to me, like, her theater kid energy of just, like, you know, always having to, like, you know, like, be, like, you know, on in terms of, like, that switch that turns on of, like, her being, like performing all the time is so, it's her, right? That's her in a way. I know it's a weird thing to say where it's, like, it's yes, it's not her self under that performance, but, like, you know, that side official where she wants to keep up that performance and that idea of herself, that to me is her, and I love that aspect of her so much, and it's so fun to see as well. And then Sino, you know, having his personality so tied to this idea too. Like, it's so fun to see, like, Fischl being like, oh my god, there's books here that I couldn't get out in the real world, and Sino's like, I have to uphold this, like, my duty, like, I have to fight here as well. Which is such a fun idea as well. So can we get rewards from Wolfie after we do some challenges too? Chi-Chi here is also, which is so fun.
Stories? What are those?
Waste of time, Chi-Chi.
Does writing them down mean you won't
I'm joking, by
forget
the way.
them?
I'm joking. Books are very good.
Are there any stories about Chi-Chi?
Oh my god. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people, I think technically Genshin is about Chi-Chi. And by the way, it's such a great response as well. Look at all these stories. Well, is there a story about me? I look, Nahida just sitting here in this chair, tries to be like I think Nahida always tries to be like a very down-to-earth Archon, which she is, but then like she looks like ethereal, you know, sitting in this chair over here. Hello, Nahida. And she gets off, don't get off the chair for me.
To know what's at the end of this maze too. And yes,
Our voice.
I know that as we go further in, we're bound to meet tougher and tougher monsters, and maybe even suffer some setbacks along the way. But after the winds and rain have passed, the saplings in the forest grow a little bigger and a little stronger. We'll only get to see the blue sky above the treetops if we keep pressing on, right?
That's such a beautiful way to put it. I looked at she hops back onto the chair. You shouldn't have got off the chair, Nahida. You're an Archon, right? I should have respect for you. No, absolutely lovely sentiments she had there as well. Like, you know, it's only then can we truly see like the beauty of this world by getting through all like the bad stuff as well. Loved that these characters are here. This is such a nice touch. I didn't expect, again, you know what's probably true? People probably told me about this before, about this aspect of the idea of like inviting characters, but I didn't know it was going to be like they were fully voiced and like they had like this really cool canonical reason for them to be here. That's really, really cool. Let's check out the performance aspects as well again. So we can do battle normal. Right now we have 190 of these things. So we can refresh events too. Should we just I'll keep doing the battle normal for a bit. Yeah. And we'll see, I just see how everything goes as well. Oh, I guess we have to do the same battle over and over again. Oh no, it's a different lineup again. But can I change the difficulty? No, it's not. Is it still easy? I don't know. We'll do a few more and see where it goes anyway. Honestly, right now I can probably only handle. If we're really being honest, I could probably only handle easy right now. You know what I mean? Like especially with these guys. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sell myself short, but I'm going to sell myself a little bit short here. You know what I mean?
Orders given.
We love Chi-Chi.
Like,
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a situation where I'm trying to doubt myself too much, but like I've never done the theater. I've never once, you know, been here at all. I'm not like a absolutely skilled Genshin player who has like a bunch of leveled characters who's always like trying like big aspects of combat here. How are we? I guess we have to like. We probably should have brought a different type of character in here as well, I guess. Because we need to bring down the electricity as well, right? But I should have realized that as well. So maybe if we bring in... we don't really have a lot of characters who can do a lot with that stuff. Right? Yeah, I don't think we do, like, in terms of... That's so cool, you can see them here as well. Oh, look at Saito. Yeah, look, we'll go for it anyway. And actually, you know what? It might be a good idea to get rid of him as soon as possible here.
Sacred name, fortune preserver.
Your sins weigh upon your soul.
Yeah. We have to work within our confines, right? It's like, yeah, I could just be like, oh, I just need a different team member, but I feel like that's a good lesson as well, right? The idea of like having to like adapt to whatever's in front of you. You know what I mean? We're not always going to get like the best options. I'm not always going to have the best teams.
By royal decree.
Judgment is upon you. You stay condemned.
And I understand this is on a very much easier difficulty. I don't know like if it's you can change the difficulty. Please let me know. But I imagine that like for now, doing this on a much easier difficulty is probably the only thing I can handle, I guess. And now they can't be used, I guess. And so that's going to be our team if we want to do more of this as well. We have to use our other team. Oh, we're sitting down in the chair. So if I go to continue performance. Climactic battle showdown. Well, we don't have like a crazy team. Right? But we can try it, right? We can try it out. We can try it out. It's because you utilize your team and they get less energetic as time goes on. But this isn't a terrible team, especially if we can like do this. Is this like going to be a boss battle? This isn't a terrible team whatsoever. Oh my god, for the top rope! Jesus Christ. No damage whatsoever. I mean, it's okay damage, actually. It's okay damage. And the Feresa combo is bam, 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 bam. I got the combo wrong, that's my bad. I can do the combo, though. I forgot the actual combo itself, but I think it's bam, 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 and then bam. So it's bam, 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 bam. I think I definitely getting the combo wrong. But I got it right before, so I know we can do this. You know what I mean? I know we can do this combo. It's bam, 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 and then that, yeah. I know we can do this combo. It is like, I think we might have to utilize Eula a lot more in this, if we want to get this done. Right? In the time allotted. I think so, because while Varesa is good, my Varesa is good, it's, you know, Eula's obviously the most built character out of all of them, I think, that I have. Yeah. And also using the buff that Mika gives as well, right? And then... yeah, because we can do way more damage with this move at the very least, right? Yeah. Like, look at that. I know this is healing, but...
Neutralizing threat. Crush. Shudder. Eye for an eye.
Yeah, I think it's more than possible if we do our strategies right? We got a superconductor there as well.
You had your chance.
Rack and ruin. Freeze
We
to the
might not be able to do this in the allotted time. We could try.
Yeah. Eye for an eye.
We could. We definitely could.
Ultimate flying kick.
Dividing cover fire.
Shudder.
Yeah, we can. We got it, but like, yeah, definitely like I can see why this would be like a really like I have a feeling of like we didn't do it within 70 seconds, but I have this feeling of like tenseness. Does that make sense? Like there's like this feeling of like wanting to succeed in a way, and I wonder if that's how you guys
Bravo.
feel when you're playing this. It's like this
Another
like
spellbinding
heart pounding
performance.
moment. I'm going to talk to Wolfie
Are you
again.
interested in learning any new thespian tricks? By which I mean dashing and elegant poses. In fact, what would you say to a friendly exchange? I'll teach you some thespian tricks in return for toy medals from the treasure
Okay,
chests.
cool.
Friendship is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Just the word itself gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart and my
This is my kind of guy. It's a lovely thing indeed.
Yep, gotta love friendship. But, when you say a warm, fuzzy feeling in your stomach, there is something slightly concerning about that. Anyway, are you sure you're okay with just toy medals? What could they be worth if they're just toys?
As long as you believe, even toy medals can be more
There's the idea of your
valuable than
imagination,
gold.
right?
That is the magic of imagination.
Yep, fantasy to
Madam
real life.
Mage told me that. I can't say I entirely understand what she meant, but the thespian tricks, I actually got those from a wish I made to Madam Mage. So long as she thinks it's a fair trade, I think it should be fine.
Sounds kinda ominous. Don't a lot of scary stories start out that way? You make a reckless wish to a wicked witch, but you end up regretting it when she forces you to pay an impossible price in return?
Honestly, like, yeah, some very cool stories as well.
I believe you're misunderstanding the situation, dear guest. There is absolutely nothing to fear. To start with, mages are quite different from wicked witches. And besides, I already told you what the price is. It's the toy medals. There's no
I think they
catch.
they call the Hexen Circle like mages, right? And I think I just called them like, but I think witches is what Hexen Circle are as well, right? Maybe it's not the Hexen Circle then?
And you're sure about that?
I do love Paimon is a bit like, weary about this too.
Yes, completely. In any case, I was the one who made the wish. So if someone has to end up paying an impossible price, just leave it to me.
Well, you sound so proud of that. Yeah, we still feel bad about it.
I enjoy watching your performances.
That's cute.
So it's well worth it as far as I'm concerned. I wonder how many blank pages are left in this book. But not to worry. Even if we run out of space, new blank pages will be added very soon.
Very cool.
I do look forward to the day when all empty pages are filled with stories.
I like Wolfie a lot. He's very passionate. You know what I mean? And like very cheerful to have around as well, honestly. So is this like the rewards we get from this? Claim rewards? Whoa. That's actually like... That's pretty great. And we get some... Whoa, and 2 fragile pine. That's actually really good. That's actually. He's thinking of boards right now. That's wait, there's more characters here. Oh my god, that's so cool. Yeah, no, I love those rewards. Those are great rewards. Vanessa?
Don't forget to stretch your muscles and relax in between battles. Otherwise, the fatigue will only build up over time, until your limbs are all sore and stiff.
You tell him.
I know some really good assisted stretches, but I've only done them with Coach Yansan before. She's the only one who can handle my strength.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I'm sure you can handle it too. How about I help you relax first, and then you help me with my stretching after?
100%. That'd be so fun. Working out with Vanessa and stretching and stuff, and like exercising with Vanessa. I adore her so much. This character is a legit 10 out of 10 character. I love her so much. She's great. I have leveled her up recently as well.
What will
will become of the wicked aristocracy after being ousted by the valiant knight?
You tell him, you tell the aristocracy what's
Will
happening.
they flee into the dark woods while the nation rejoices, wallowing in self-pity? Or will they beg for mercy, only to skulk in some corner of the city, sharpening their knives? Fairy tales never answer these questions. They just assume that eternal peace is a given once the villains have been defeated.
So Eula's kind of talking about the idea of how, like, you know, it's like she's seen like all, like, you know, what happens in the aftermath of aristocracy, like of what happens to like villains and things like this. But like in terms of like the fairy tales, it's usually like, oh, and everything lived happily ever after. But there's also those things like skulking in the distance. You know, I think those people have those questions even when they read Lord of the Rings, and like after the end of Lord of the Rings, they go, what happened to this? What happened to that? I think there's always those questions. There always will be those questions, and it's super interesting that Eula's asking the questions. She's just the type to ask those questions too, right? The type of person to take a fairy tale that is supposed to be just like a either a cautionary tale or a story about, like, you know, having a happy ending, and go, well, what happened to these guys, you know? It seems like a very Eula thing. How are you doing, Collie?
Did you bring enough
My gal.
supplies?
My gal.
Don't forget to rehydrate and replenish your energy while we have some downtime.
Why are you so perfect? Our baby. This is our gal.
We're lucky to have this place. It's much safer and better equipped than a makeshift camp in the wild. But still, you shouldn't get complacent and forget to take care of yourself. You'll only end up regretting it
This
later.
is so true for everything in life, by the way. You know what I mean? It's like if you prepare, you know, drink some water, do all this stuff, like you can really like make your day a little bit better, you know?
How would I know? I mean, cause...
It's okay.
Well, do I really have to answer that?
Collie, it is so okay. Like everyone fails to prepare sometimes. It happens, you know what I mean? Everyone fails to prepare. I adore Collie as well, one of my favorite characters. I actually do want to do a top 10 favorite characters very soon. I think it'll be a really fun idea to do. Honestly, I think so anyway. We'll see if we can get around to it for sure. Mika?
A preliminary survey must be performed before delving into a domain. But here, if you don't mind resting here for a while more, I might be able to go and gather some useful intelligence.
Whatever you need.
I'm nowhere near as good in combat as the others, but I want to make sure I do my part.
Sure. So I'm going to be ending the episode here. I'll be honest and say that I'm pretty like self-conscious a little bit about like how I did or all this stuff, or like what I chose, the choices I chose. But I want to give my interpretation of like what this is. This is something that like honestly is more than I thought it was. I genuinely thought, and I said this to people before, I genuinely thought that this was just like this mega... I knew that there was like some lore to it, but I wasn't sure how much, because people were like, no, you will love this. People like, you like even, and more recently it's been like amped up a bit. People are like, no, you will love this. You definitely will love this. And in the nicest way possible, people are like, you will love this. The aspects of this that I love. First of all, getting that the big lore book was awesome. The idea of like the little witch was a really awesome piece of information, right? That was awesome. Really cool stuff. The location is incredible, as we saw this before. But like, honestly, like, yes, my favorite aspect is probably like having characters here and inviting them here and having a canonical reason to invite characters here. Is meeting a new character in Wolfie and hearing about all this, the you know, the idea of the mages that were brought here and the idea of us being invited here. But if we're talking about like the combat itself, because I think people probably want to hear me talk about the combat if I'm going here. From what I did, it was probably the easiest version of the Imaginarium Theater you can do, right? It is, from what I'm seeing, it is the easy. I picked the easy one because I thought we could do easy, normal, hard in a row, but I guess we just did all easy. But the rewards are pretty good. The combat situations are, you know, fun for people that are definitely into combat. I love the idea of having to manage your stamina, and I actually have to like come like, because what happened in the end there, right? It's something that I don't usually all the time have to do when I do story or world quests, which is the idea of like, I love this guy too, by the way. You're so cute. You know that? I know. Yeah, you know. I also have to, in the last moments there, I was using Veresa because I love using Veresa. She's the most fun character, one of the most fun characters to have. I say like top 5 most fun gameplay in all my characters. And I was using Veresa, but like she wasn't doing enough damage to these guys with the shield. So it's like, and like then Eula couldn't do enough damage because you're just doing superconduct. You're not like really doing any reactions with the shields. I couldn't bring down the shields. So there was like this really like interesting moment for me that I don't usually have a lot of times, like, because obviously I think I'm not terrible at this game at all, but like obviously I don't have to use like a lot of like intricate detailed strategies, just like do the basic like combat stuff that brings me to the dance, right? The stuff like of using reactions and like knowing my characters a little bit, doing the combos and stuff like that. But this time I actually had to like think like, Okay, well, I was about to swear. I can't. I'm having trouble bring this guy's shield down. Oh yeah, just attack him first. And I have we've done that before in the actual normal combat where we've had to attack like healers first or something like that because like they get more difficult as to go on. But I do love that this kind of like forced me into a situation in a way where it's like, you have to decide right now, like, how are you going to approach this? And also maybe down the line, if you know I don't know if you know what's coming, but if you knew what's coming, I wonder if there's like this thing, or even if you didn't know what's coming, it's like, oh, maybe I should save Sino for later. Maybe I should save Mika for later. Maybe I should save Eula for the first part and then use Sino in the second part. Maybe I should use this character now and not use this character now. But it ended up having like some really interesting dynamics in terms of like battle and combat that I actually like really, really enjoyed. Like I was really, really into the idea of like what we were able to do here with that as well. That stuff is really, really cool. Now, here's the thing. I want to say this right now. I don't expect this from me. I want to say that right away. There's probably gonna be weeks on end where I don't even like return to this idea of this, because again, I hope you guys understand that like end game content is not really something that is like for me in the way that with this will end up, because I know for a fact that I did take on like the easiest thing you could do in this mission. The easiest thing you could do in this theater. I'm not stupid. You know I took on like a very easy task here. So what I would say is that I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I was able to do it. I think it has some really fun, amazing concepts to it. The idea of the story, the lore, Wolfie, meeting all these characters. I can see like this getting super challenging and giving a lot of people motivation to level up their characters even more and like create new teams and just strategize even more. That's really cool too. I hope you guys also understand that like you're probably not going to get like a lot of like end game content from me, like Spiral Abyss or this as well, right? It's just not something that I really do on the channel. I think over time, again, I probably could like build better characters and do something like this, like and be capable of doing this. But of course, we do focus more on like story aspects and like, more like casual gameplay aspects of this too. So don't expect a lot of this from me, but I am glad that I tried. I'm glad that I tried it out with you guys. I'm glad I got to show you guys this as well and give you my interpretation of what this is. I can definitely see the appeal, like more than see the appeal, 100%. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you guys for being so awesome and supportive of everything that I do. It's so awesome, and I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys, don't cringe too hard at some of the gameplay aspects that I give you guys here. But I did enjoy my time. I just imagine that this probably gets much harder. You know what I mean? And it's probably something that I'm not capable of. Maybe I probably would be capable with time, but I think maybe I'll see what you guys say anyway. Thank you so much to Tyver2, JB Bull, Janet the Banana, The Ghost of Inazuma, Felicious Felix, Ewald, Radish, and Nusta, Death Trap, Lynx Markey, Assassin, True Peanut Butter, Peter Shelson, Heck, Leon, High Casparian, Jared Beanham, and my 2 YouTube members at the highest tier, that would be Blasco and Royal Gamers 7. And thank you so much for becoming YouTube members. YouTube membership is there for people that don't like really using Patreon or can't use Patreon. And it's there. You can get your name right out or you can have your name in the credits as a €10 tier on YouTube. I'll see you guys so soon. Thank you guys for joining for this. Thank you guys for being patient with me as always, and also being very kind. I can't stress enough how kind people were about this wasn't a thing where people were pushing me towards this. It was a very kind way of being you would like this. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.